as if you're a shield player, I think it will be pretty easy to keep both the red and the blue capped out if the stacking mechanism works when enemies are hitting a shield. So we're definitely going to need to go and test it and check that out. But what we need to think about here is, well, how much damage is our maximum damage from this backpack? Well, we already know we're getting the core attribute of a red, a little bit of versatility when it comes to the armor and the skill tier. But if we scroll down here, we're going to get 0.5 times by 80, which is 40% weapon damage. So essentially for that, we're going to be dropping things like the Striker's Backpack, which adds 25% weapon damage on, as well as maybe things like the Memento, where the Memento gives you 30 stacks plus 5% for every red. So, you know, and then more damage for 10 seconds every time you collect attack. So again, at this point, the Memento is probably always going to out damage the Harrier Pride, but we don't have to collect tokens. But then we get a lot of versatility with the damage resistance that we are going to get as well, because 80% damage resistance is no slouch. So here is a regular Striker's build. We've got the Lexington on with the backpack. We've got the unit alloys chest piece on, and we've got a shield. And we will go and try it out. I don't think this is going to be, oh my god, this is the new meta backpack. I certainly don't think it's going to be that. I don't think the damage will be big enough for it to earn that title. But will this be used in legendary master kind of solos because of the huge amount of damage reduction?
We need you to secure the memorial and remove
I have got the global event on, but that doesn't really matter because I'm not going to stand in cover.
Direct threat to the campus.
Someone there?
So first of all, let's see what happens when we get some hits. You can see the red bar building up. Now you can see the blue bar building up. So if he hits my shield, okay, so the blue bar is building up. It's hard to see because of how small the build up is, but yeah, it is building up. But the first thing that I am noticing here is that good, really good players are going to pretty much play like a, well, you're never going to hit me kind of scenario.
There's a gate between you. It looks closed from here.
Agent, you'll need to find a way to
So you'll never build the stacks up. Has it just reset out of combat?
Someone hiding there?
Oh, it has. Alright, so it resetting out of combat is not great.
One of ours is KIA.
Because essentially, if I'm playing solo anywhere, I'm not even sure I'll ever get to the top of that stacking mechanism. I mean, potentially we could try and use a stack broker and treat it like Heartbreaker and Strikers. Maybe. Let's put that on and see if that works. But yeah, losing the stacks is a little bit of a negative for it, that's for sure. Or losing them so easily anyway. Okay, so we can treat it like a Heartbreaker. You can see this is probably the most stacks we have ever built up. So now we've swapped. So now we should have some really good damage resistance. Maybe we're misunderstanding the talent. I don't feel like we had any damage resistance. Alright, so we've definitely pushed it round. And I feel like we've got 0 damage resistance.
Agent down.
At that point.
All clear.
So let's just double check we're definitely reading that correctly.
Clear.
No, that can't be all.
So upon reaching 80 stacks in total, lose all stacks, which we did, and receive a separate bonus of 0.5% damage resistance per red stack. So we should have got 40% damage resistance. It really didn't feel like we did. And then a bonus of next to nothing in weapon damage, essentially, because I don't really feel like I ever built enough unless I was using the stat broker. So my initial impressions are I would probably just use the memento, and that's a little bit sad. I really had high hopes for this. Stats. If we go into our stats here, see, we don't get the damage reduction stat. The only one we ever get really is protection from elites. So it's very hard to gauge. I don't really felt like the benefit that I see from using memento. The memento benefit is always very easily and very plain to see. And the problem that I have got with it now, I suppose, is it's very easy to build one side up, but never so much both at the same time. Maybe if you used it in a tank build, that situation, or it might be a little bit different.
Objective. Don't let anything stand in your way.
But for instance, if I go into here now, we'll test out the big Al. I've not used it yet, so we'll go into cover, and we'll use the global event as well. So on a very fast firing LMG that we're putting in the work with, it seems quite easy to build the stacks. I don't know, maybe the damage resistance is short.
Medical assistance needed.
Like, I should have damage resistance right now. Right, one more time. Big Owl seems like an absolute monster. Let's just run up a little bit. We are going to risk killing ourselves here. So it's just swapped. I don't feel any damage resistance. And the big owl's putting on a show. It's putting on a show how to run out of ammo. Yeah, I feel a little bit confused. I feel a little bit underwhelmed and a little bit confused with it. So for instance, in this bit now, I can go into cover, I can take advantage of the G again. You know, because I shouldn't be getting any extra weapon damage, but I should be getting maximum damage resistance because I'm always peeking the red bar. Here it goes again. And it killed him just as it went out of combat. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not convinced. I mean, I feel like I've done enough testing. This video is already extensively long. Is it okay? Yes. Does it stand out massively? I feel like it losing the buffs going out of combat is letting it down. And then when it gets to something like this now, it takes a silly amount of time to get the stacks up. And what's going to happen is the minute I kill this guy in here that he's hiding, I'm going to lose my stacks all over again. So yeah, we're going to leave it there. Initial impressions are it's not great, unfortunately. It's not as good as what I thought. I feel like it needs a little bit of work. I feel like us losing the stacks every time we go out of combat is rough, because the problem is it's quite easy, especially solo, to never have this talent proc. So then it doesn't feel like there is much point in it when I can build damage so much quicker just from having this bad boy on and getting a kill, which you're going to be guaranteed to do in every section. The damage resistance didn't feel like it was doing much. In fact, I would go to the point where I feel like it didn't feel like it was actually working, which is a little bit of a shame. So for me, yeah, this is a pass right now, a pass into the stash. That's what we'll start calling it. But yeah, we'll put some feedback in. We never had a PTS, so things like this never got a chance to be given any feedback. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thanks always for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. See you later, agents. Bye bye.